on a beautiful 51-degree day in the Mile High City. A capacity crowd better than 76,000 turning out for the San Diego Chargers and the Denver Broncos. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon, and San Diego coming in with a record of 3-1, their best start since back in 2006. Denver 1 up and 3 down. Rich, what do the Broncos have to do to turn things around?
Well, 2 things, Marv. Let's keep it simple. Let's start with defensively. They need to eliminate the explosive plays. They gave up over 500 yards of offense last week to the Packers. Offensively, they've got to be able to crank up the running game. If they have to throw the punch against this San Diego defense, they're in trouble.
All right, Denver has won the toss, and they will receive. Denver Broncos lost at home to Oakland, lost to Tennessee last week at Green Bay. The one win here at home was to Cincinnati. Last Sunday, Packers beat the Broncos 49-23. Kyle Orton throwing 3 interceptions, while San Diego played 3 of their first 4 at home, beating Minnesota, Kansas City, and last week Miami. The one loss in week 2 at New England. Quan Cosby with no return, and that has certainly been the case here in the high altitude in Denver. Of the 22 kickoffs here in Denver, 21 have gone for touchback. And here comes the quarterback, Kyle Orton.
Yeah, Marv, he's got to get off to a good start. You know, you think about last week, he threw the 3 interceptions, 4 turnovers offensively, 6 3-and-outs. They haven't had a lead in any game this season. He's got to find a way to get off to a fast start.
And if he does not, we'll continue to face the pressure with the fans chanting for Tim Tebow unless Kyle gets off to a dynamic start. Willis McGahee is the running back. Here's McGahee. And a look at that Denver offensive line. Orlando Franklin, the 6'7" rookie out of Miami. A bit difficult time for Orlando. His 20-year-old brother was killed this past Wednesday. As far as the backs and receivers, Eric Decker off to a terrific start. 20 receptions last week, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. Once again, it is McGahee getting across the 25, and he picked up 3. The Chargers up front with Corey Legion, first-round draft pick, rookie out of Illinois, along with Garay and Martin. The linebackers, well, you talk to the Denver players, all anyone mentions is number 95. That's the outside linebacker, Sean Phillips. They are certainly aware of Phillips. How about Eric Weddle, the free safety, came up with a game-clinching interception last week against the Dolphins. Out of the gun. Intended for Decker. Covered by Dante Hughes, the nickelback. Eric Decker with 20 catches, and all have gone for first downs. Patrick Creighton is back. This 4th down and 3. Britton Colquitt with the punt. And here is Creighton finding some running room and gets to midfield. 64-yard punt, a beauty, and a 30-yard return. And here comes Phillip Rivers coming off his best game of the season.
Yeah, you know, few quarterbacks in this league are as efficient as Phillip Rivers. We got a chance to sit down and talk to Norv Turner last night about his quarterback. He says he plays with great discipline in the system.
Rivers has won 8 of his last 10 starts against Denver. Comes off that win over Miami. Certainly one of the game's elite quarterbacks. He has Ryan Matthews as the running back, second-year man out of Fresno State, who has turned it from a disappointing rookie season. Matthews, the ball carrier. So Matthews goes for 4. A look at the Chargers up front. Nick Hardwick, the center, back from an injured neck. In fact, missed some practice time earlier in the week. And in terms of the running backs and the receivers. Vincent Jackson out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, one of the NFL's top big play receivers. Now Matthews along with the fullback Jacob Hester line up in the I formation. The pitch to Matthews, makes the turn, and has a first down. Covered up by the left corner, Champ Bailey, as we check out the defensive unit for the Broncos. Elvis Dumerville at right defensive end, back after missing last season due to chest surgery, says he is almost 100%. How about Von Miller? 4 sacks for the rookie out of Texas A&M. 2 sacks last week against Aaron Rodgers. And in the secondary, Champ Bailey is back from a pulled hamstring. He'd missed the last 3 games. On first down, it is Matthews again. Stopped by the weak side linebacker DJ Williams, a 5-yard advance for Matthews.
Well, Ryan Matthews starting to figure things out, and not just in the running game. You know, he's become a better runner, very good vision. I think he's much more deliberate when you study the tape, much quicker to the hole. I think he's running with some power, and I think the fact that he's been healthy, Marv, has made a lot of difference.
And last Sunday against Miami, he accounted for 149 yards from scrimmage. Hit that number for the second straight week. 2nd and 6. Rivers pegs it downfield, and it's nearly picked off on the deflection. Brian Dawkins back in action, coming back into the lineup after that injured ankle. Almost had it.
Well, they're trying to attack the middle of the field, get the linebackers a little bit of a mismatch, trying to cover a player like Vincent Jackson down the middle of the field. The key for this Denver defense, the depth of the safeties. It was a problem last week against Green Bay. Look for them to play much deeper on the back end.
Rivers looking at a 3rd and 6. Now Mike Tolbert in the backfield. Rivers goes short range, went underneath, has a first down with Tolbert. He breaks tackles and gets inside the 15. An 18-yard pickup. Cassius Vaughn making the tackle. How about Tolbert? He averages just under 2.5 yards per carry, but San Diego's leading receiver now with 26 catches.
Yeah, he's taken over Darren Sproles' role in this offense. Completely different back, but he's quicker than you think, and he's tough to tackle. He's got some suddenness and quickness to his game, and he's catching a lot of balls.
It appears that Raheem Moore, the free safety, was shaken up on that play. Right here, we'll step away. Let's check in with JB and Boomer back in New York.
Marv, nip and tuck in Houston. Houston's trying to get to the tying touchdown, have to go for a 2-point play, but Richard Seymour makes a huge sack right here. Houston kicks the field goal, 25-20. Oakland is up. 2 and change is left in this game. Oakland's ball.
All right, back to Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
Raiders trying to make it a record of 3 up and 2 down.
Playing hard for Al Davis, Marv. You know, they're trying to get one done today.
Looks like Raheem Moore is on the sideline. David Bruton, 3-year man from Notre Dame, comes in at free safety. First down for the Chargers. Tolbert. He goes 5'9", 245 pounds. Reminds me in terms of the physique. Remember Don Nottingham? They called him the bowling ball. But Tolbert has been a terrific receiver. He's in his 4th season out of Coastal Carolina, and he and Matthews have done a good job in teaming up.
Yeah, they're catching a lot of balls, as you mentioned. Doing a good job, Phillip Rivers. He wants to throw the ball down the field, but if it's not there, he's more than willing to come down and check it to the backs.
2nd and 5, the pitch to Matthews. Nice cut. And good recovery by the Denver defense, particularly up front. Dumerville makes the stop. Just a 1-yard advance for Matthews.
Well, this defense, they were dead last in just about every major statistical category a year ago. They've been trying to rebuild this defense. They're getting younger. Getting Elvis Dumerville back healthy is important. Von Miller has been outstanding on the other side, and I think having a healthy Champ Bailey in the secondary is a godsend.
From the Charger point of view, they have had their difficulties in the red zone. Let's see how they fare here. It's a 3rd down and 4. Rivers able to complete to Tolbert, but he is stopped short of the 1st down by Wesley Woodyard. Woodyard, the defensive co-captain, holding that to a 2-yard pickup.
Well, what they're trying to do, they're trying to get the back isolated on the linebacker. And that's what they're going to try to do. These linebackers today for Denver really have their work cut out for them as they go up against Ryan Matthews and Mike Tolbert, who both catch a lot of balls.
Now this will be a 24-yard attempt for Nick Novak, who has been perfect. 6 for 6 on the season. And that is right through Nick Novak, replacing Nate Kading, who tore ligaments in his left knee trying to make a tackle in the season opening kickoff. And as you can see, a little extracurricular activity following that successful field goal by the 4-year man out of Maryland, Nick Novak. Nick Novak made the rounds. Washington, Arizona, back to Washington, KC, now San Diego. In fact, Rich, only 19 for 30 prior to this season, had not kicked in the NFL since back in October of 2008.
And you got to look in the middle of that pile, their new special teams coordinator, Rich Bisaccia. Marv, you and I had a chance to visit with him last night. Did a great job all those years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And special teams were a real problem a year ago. They were a disaster. They had 4 punts blocked, 4 kicks returned for touchdowns, and they allowed a record 18.9 yards per punt return. And it ultimately cost Steve Crosby his job in San Diego.
That was one of the major problems for the Chargers last year. They did finish 9-7, did not make the playoffs, but they had 4 punts blocked, and opponents returned 3 kickoffs and a punt for touchdowns. Novak will kick it away to Quan Cosby. And once again, it is a deep kick, and once again, no return. Well, you can keep up with the NFL when you're on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Talking about all the touchbacks that take place here in Denver. How does the high altitude here affect you?
I don't know. It's hard for me to talk. Now, you know what? It does affect, I think, more than anything, more of the kicking game. The punters and the kickers notice it the most.
Willis McGahee on the carry for Juicy. I was hoping that you would go into your playing days, and I was going to say, no, I'm talking about your broadcasting, and you step right into it.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm a little lightheaded, I have to tell you.
That I noticed.
It's usually that's standard operating procedure. But, you know, I really think the key for this Denver offense is to see them come out in an empty backfield set. They've got to be able to run the football today.
2nd down and 8 for the Broncos. And Orton with the completion short of a 1st down. No Sean Moreno on the catch, met by the outside linebacker, Sean Phillips.
Well, when they get in this empty, the ball has got to come out quick, and Kyle Orton does a nice job getting it to Moreno. Again, you want to try and get the matchups. The quick Moreno on the rusher, the pass rusher, Sean Phillips.
Picked up 6. It's a 3rd and 2. McGahee. Beautiful run by Willis McGahee, who is averaging just under 4 yards per carry. Eric Weddle, the free safety, able to push him out of bounds. McGahee, the one-time Buffalo Bill, Baltimore Raven, signed with Denver as a free agent.
Yeah, you just watch him bounce it all the way backside here, the cutback. And Willis McGahee, he's a very deliberate runner. He's their best runner right now. You wonder how much tread's left on those tires. but he has a good feel for that zone blocking scheme.
First down for Denver at midfield. Moreno now in the backfield. Deep drop by Orton, in trouble, gets it away, and it's picked off. Intercepted by the inside linebacker, Donald Butler. Sean Phillips putting the pressure on Orton, who has been intercepted for the 7th time this season. Green Bay last week got him for 3.
Well, it all starts with Phillips coming around the edge. He's going to beat Orlando Franklin. And as Kyle Orton goes to step up, watch him grab that back's jersey, and it forces him to kind of make a poor decision. You cannot make this throw into the flat. Sean Phillips is such a great pass rusher, but Kyle Orton cannot make that throw.
And as we touched on earlier, Orton has been hearing the boos from this Denver crowd. Folks here want to see Tim Tebow, who did get in for one play last week and lost the yard. First appearance of this season. Matthews straight ahead. Picked up 2, met by Joe Mays, the middle linebacker.
You hear Phillip Rivers down there making an Omaha call, and they have 2 tight ends in the game. Essentially, that means opposite. If we were going to run it to the right, now we're going to run it to the left. So Phillip does a great job managing the run game. A lot of run game responsibilities and rules fall on the shoulders of the quarterback.
Now Creighton splits wide to the right. Rivers from the gun. And it's picked off. Cassius Vaughn all the way for the score. It went through the hands of Patrick Creighton, and Vaughn took it 55 yards for Denver.
Well, 2 things here. Phillip Rivers makes a poor throw a little bit behind Creighton, but Creighton is late with his eyes. Now watch this whole thing develop. Creighton is late coming out of the break with his eyes, and that's a very unfortunate bounce. Vaughn right there to make the play. When you come out of that break, you've got to get your eyes on the quarterback.
Here's Matt Prater for the extra point attempt. Well, we talked about Orton's 7th interception a moment ago. Rivers with a high number of interceptions, number 7 for Phillip Rivers. Let's check back in with our New York studios. Here's JB and Boomer.
Seattle capitalizes on a rough day for Eli Manning.
You talk about interceptions, Marv. How about this one? The Giants are driving for the winning touchdown. They're down 29-25. And then Brandon Browner is going to pick off Eli Manning, go 94 yards, interception return. Seattle goes on to win 36-25. Eli Manning on the day, 420 yards passing, 3 interceptions.
Seattle improves to 2-3. New York falls to 3-2. Back to Marvin Rich.
All right, guys. Well, we're seeing, even though in a losing effort, once again, all these 400-plus passing yardage games.
Yeah, and a lot of interceptions. Michael Vick threw a bunch today, and now we see Eli Manning. Eli Manning had 25 of them a year ago, led the league. Marv, I thought he got that straightened out.
Now Prater will kick it away. Richard Goodman, the first-year pro out of Florida State, averaging 22 yards per return. Darren Sproles now in New Orleans, so the kick return man is Goodman, and the punt returner these days is Antoine Cason. And again, a booming kick. So they'll bring it out to the 20. Well, it's inside the NFL with JB and Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp, plus exclusive NFL Films highlights behind the scenes. Guys ahead of the action inside the NFL. That's Wednesdays on Showtime. Marv Albert with Rich Gannon. We are in Denver. And what has developed into a very chippy first quarter. We saw guys come together earlier right after that field goal. And once again, as the offensive unit of the Chargers stepped on. See words being exchanged.
Yeah, Marvin, you mentioned the carelessness really of Phillip Rivers. 7 interceptions so far this season, 2 interceptions in each of the first 3 games. That's something he's got to get cleaned up.
Matthews and Hester in the backfield. Matthews takes the handoff, and he is stopped back behind the line by Joe Mays, the middle linebacker. Jason Hunter also involved, a loss of 1. Ryan Matthews struggled through a rookie season of injuries and fumbles, but he has really come on this year. Runs with a lot of power. San Diego traded up 16 spots to select him 12th overall in the draft. It was 2 years back. Second and 11 from the 19. Vincent Jackson with a first down catch. Andre Goodman on the coverage. That's good for 11. So Jackson with 21 receptions, and all 21 have gone for first down.
Yeah, they love the deep shots down the field. Phillip Rivers has great time. He really throws these comebacks, these out-breaking routes so well. And, of course, when you have receivers like a Vincent Jackson at 6'5", that size really makes a difference against these smaller corners.
Chargers 1st and 10 from their 31-yard line. Matthews with running room, breaks a tackle, and has the helmet knocked off in the process of being knocked out of bounds by Jason Hunter. 36 yards for Ryan Matthews.
Yeah, Joe Mays is right there in the hole to make the play. You're going to see him right here. Got to make this stop. That's a nice job sorting through it. Now he gets back into this gap. You've got to make that tackle on Ryan Matthews, and then here comes another miss in the secondary from Raheem Morris.
Now Mike Tolbert has come on. How about Matthews? Already 60 yards on 7 attempts. 1st and 10 for San Diego. Tolbert, the ball carrier, gets inside the 30, where he's met by the weak side linebacker DJ Williams. That's a 4-yard advance. Back to JB and Boomer.
Houston driving for the winning score, Boomer.
And on an emotional day for the Raiders, Matt Schaub has a chance to win it on the last play of the game. Does he run it? What does he do? He lobs it in there, and Michael Huff makes the easy interception. The Raiders go on the win 25-20. As I said, an emotional day, JB, for the Raiders.
Did what their boss wanted them to do. Just win, baby, and they did. Back to Marv Albert, Rich Gannon.
So Hugh Jackson's team is now 3-2 as they look ahead to the Cleveland Browns at home next Sunday. Rivers with a deep drop being chased. On the screen, he has Matthews. And Matthews with a first down.
Well, they're a very good screen team because I think Matthews is a patient runner, and they have this offensive line that can get out in front of the screen.
Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter, the Broncos with a 7-3 lead on the Chargers. San Diego has won the last 3 meetings against Denver. The last Denver win over San Diego was early in the 2008 season. Tolbert and Hester in the backfield on an offset I formation. Tolbert following the blocker has a first down inside the 10. He was tripped up by Champ Bailey. 13-yard run for Mike Tolbert.
Well, keep an eye on this. You're going to see the guard pull, and you're also going to see McMichael come around and pull. So you get a kick out, and they really do a nice job sealing the edge with the fullback. McMichael gets a cut, and they turn Tolbert loose on the secondary.
And North Turner staying with that combination. He has Tolbert and Hester. Again on an offset I. And again, it's Tolbert. It's time to try to barrel straight ahead. Not much there. DJ Williams made the stop. Tolbert picked up 2 on the play.
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to play for Norv Turner, and I think he's one of the best play callers in the business. He's going to give the quarterback opportunities, shot plays downfield. Probably got 15 or 20 in the plan each week. And if it's not there, Phillip Rivers is smart enough and patient enough to check it down to the backs, knowing that Norb will give him plenty more opportunities.
Second and goal for Phillip Rivers, and the Chargers, and the play's blown dead.
Prior to the snap, first charge timeout, Denver. It will be a 30-second timeout.
The voice of Gene Steratore, his 9th year as a referee, as the timeout is taken. And there is John Fox, the head coach of the Denver Broncos. First season here with Denver, following a rocky run by Josh McDaniels. We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Raiders and the Texans. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. We are in Denver, Colorado. Broncos have a 7-3 lead. Rivers picked off for the 7th time, which led to the Denver touchdown. Orton has thrown an intercept. It is a 2nd and goal for San Diego. And now Jacob Hester, the fullback, switch wide to the right side. You see the numbers here, total yards. Although the Chargers are trailing, they're doing it on the stat sheet.
Well, communication, you can see it's already a problem right now, Marv, for that Denver defense that can't get lined up.
Rivers cannot find anyone. Rivers taken down. Ryan McBean, in his 4th year out of Oklahoma State. He's the guy who's made it from the practice squad to the 53-man roster, and he put the pressure on.
Yeah, I think this is a coverage sack. There's nowhere to go with the ball. Phillip Rivers really doesn't want to move outside the pocket. He's more comfortable inside, but a good effort there by Bean.
A loss of 7. Now Mike Tolbert checks back in. 3rd and goal. Rivers for the end zone. Incomplete. Double coverage on the tight end, Randy McMichael, and it appears that the 8-time Pro Bowl safety Brian Dawkins is hurt. Dawkins has had ankle problems throughout the season in his 16th campaign out of Clemson. We'll take a break. Denver up 7-3. Just a moment ago, Brian Dawkins shake it up. He's over on the sideline. 4th and goal, and Nick Novak, who hit from 24 early this first quarter, will attempt from 32 yards. He has been perfect for the season, hitting on all 7 of his attempts. Make it 8 for 8 for Nick Novak. Denver 7, San Diego 6. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The new film DreamWorks Puss in Boots in 3D. This film is rated PG for some adventure, action, and mild rude humor. And by the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto.
Nick Novak getting set to kick it away to the 3-year man out of Texas, Juan Cosby. It has been a touchback festival here in Denver. And this the 2nd home game they played, and once again this will not be returned. Well, as you are all well aware, yesterday morning one of the icons in NFL and AFL history, Al Davis, passed away at the age of 82. Rich, you spent 6 years as quarterback of Al's Oakland Raiders. What memories come to mind for you?
Well, Marv, I was very fortunate and grateful that I had the opportunity to play for Al Davis. And I got to know him on a personal level. He was an extremely generous and loyal man. He embodied the greatness of the Raiders, and no one was more passionate or worked harder to ensure their success. He's a legend, and I know I speak for many who had the pleasure of playing for him. He will be surely missed. The NFL lost a great one.
Back in Denver, the Broncos will start out at their 20-yard line. McGahee is the feature back on the handoff. Again, finds a hole, has a first down. Willis McGahee running extremely well, goes for 17. The strong safety, Steve Gregory, starting for the injured Bob Sanders, making the tackle.
Going to do a really nice job. Look at the fullback, Spencer Larson. He gets him up in there and kicks out. You can see the lineman getting up on the second level. And this is the key to this whole offense, Barb. Willis McGahee, he needs to have about 25 or 30 touches today in the running game.
Final seconds of this opening quarter. Orton able to complete as the tight end, Dante Rosario. And that'll do it for this first quarter. Kaysen makes the stop on Rosario. That's a 10-yard pickup, another first down. We'll be back to Denver after these words. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
Second quarter about to get underway. And it appears that Tim Tebow has just made his way out of the field, and he will check in. They call it the Tebow package. They ran it just once last week. He ran the ball and lost the yard, and the crowd reacts with Tebow coming on out of the gun, and he'll run, looking for a hole. Picked up 2 on the play. Donald Butler, the inside linebacker. There's been so much pressure on Kyle Orton because, and not only here in Denver, but when they play on the road, he hears the boos from the crowd with people wanting to see a Heisman winner from a couple of years back, Tim Tebow.
Well, there's been a groundswell of support for Tim Tebow. I don't know that it's a healthy environment from an organizational standpoint. I think it's as tough as it gets for a quarterback like Kyle Orton.
Fake handoff. Tebow throws it away. Sean Phillips providing the pressure. Now, Rich, you've been part of so-called quarterback controversies at
Too
both
many
ends.
times.
Well, as the backup, being called for by fans and media, and as a starter, when you go through a bad stretch, you hear the boos while the backup is cheered. I mean, what were your range of emotions when you're going through that?
I think it wears on you, and I think if you're Kyle Orton, I mean, it has to. Every reporter, every post-game press conference, every production meeting, you're asked about it. Until they win consistently, and until he plays better, it's something that he and this entire team is going to have to deal with.
Third down and 8. Tebow has a wide open field in front of him, but decided to throw. He connected with the tight end. Or rather, Orton had the wide open field, but he throws to Daniel Fells. Picked up about 8. It is close to a first down. Kaysen and
Offside.
Diggs on the tackle.
Number 95 lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined, and the result of the play is a first down.
It's called on Sean Phillips, the outside linebacker.
Well, we talked to the Broncos. He talked to the head coach, John Fox, offensive coordinator, Mike McCoy, and the quarterback, Kyle Orton. He asked him, what are the keys this week? He said, we can't let number 95 be in our backfield all day. We've got to have a plan for Sean Phillips, whether we chip him or we help with the backs. Our tackles really got to play well.
90!
First down for Denver. McGahee able to bounce it to the outside, gets inside the 40-yard line. Picked up 5 on the play. It was Quentin Jammer on the stop.
Well, you get a look at the tight end Fells come along here. He's going to do a nice job. Look at him walk Phillips right back into the ground. I've been really impressed with Willis McGahee, Marv. He's just real patient. He's a downhill runner, very deliberate. And when he's in there, they love to run between the tackles.
And again, it is McGahee between the tackles for the first down and more inside the 25. 16 more for McGahee. Donald Butler, the inside linebacker. Getting the wraps on McGahee, who has gone for 71 yards on 7 carries.
Look at that little hole right back up in between the center and the guard. And we talked to Takeo Spikes last night, the linebacker from San Diego. He played with McGahee in Buffalo, and he said, listen, this guy, you watch the tape, not a lot has changed. He still runs with power. He's got good vision, and he wants to run up inside.
McGahee on first down. This time he's bottled up. Stopped by Takeo Spikes. Getting back to the Orton Tebow situation, putting you on truth serum. When fans and the media take sides, are you able to maintain a good relationship with the other quarterback?
I think it's tough sometimes. You like to think that quarterback meeting room can be productive. Everyone can work together and encourage each other, but I just think it really wears on you, and I think it's not good for the team. Kyle Orton has to play well. If not, you'll continue to talk and ask yourself, why is Tebow not in there?
Second down play from the 23, and it is incomplete. Brandon Lloyd not able to hang on, taking that shot from the right corner, Antoine Cason.
Well, Brandon Lloyd's their best player right now. He's a very good route runner, but watch, he's got to come back to the ball. We talked last week, Marv, you and I, about not catching the ball with your body, catching the ball with your hands. And that really cost Brandon Lloyd a chance to make a catch.
No wide receivers have come up with a reception to this point. Now Matthew Willis splits wide to the right. Third down and 10. Screen was set up. Moreno getting inside the 20, but short of a first down.
Well, Moreno's become the change of pace back, and I think that he lost his starting job to Willis McGahee. He's got to become a more consistent in everything he does, whether it's running the ball, the passing game, and the protection scheme. He's got to stay on track in the running game. We talked to offensive coordinator Mike McCoy about that. He's got to be more patient. Sometimes he's so quick, he doesn't give the play a chance to develop.
Here is Matt Prater attempting from 35 yards away with the angle to the right. So Prater now 5 for 6 on the season. 10-6 Denver. Coming up on the Sprint halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Matt Prater getting set to kick it off to Richard Goodman. We have not seen a kickoff return to this point, and we will not see one here. They'll bring it to the 20. Broncos in front of the Chargers, 10-6. Mike Tolbert remains in the backfield. We've received word that Ryan Matthews, off to a superb start, 7 carries, 60 yards plus a catch, is back in the San Diego locker room because of a strained calf, and his return is questionable. Brian Dawkins hurt his neck in that collision back in the first quarter. His return questionable. There's Tolbert across the 25. DJ Williams on the stop. So Quentin Carter has come on, a rookie out of Oklahoma, for Brian Dawkins, strong safety, and now Tolbert took a hit.
Yeah, they're not in good shape. Jordan Tobin is inactive today. One of their other running backs, Ryan Matthews, as you mentioned, Marv, already in the locker room with a calf injury. You just see this hit here. That's his helmet ripped off. They can't afford to lose a back like Tolbert right now. They're only left now with Jacob Hester.
And he is the fullback who's carried the ball only 3 times this season. He is a pass receiver. Nice pass, wide open. Corey Sperry, the second tight end, working along with Randy McMichael, made the catch, but a flag is down. If it holds up, it's a 32-yard pickup.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 91. Defender applying pressure to the quarterback as he tackled him. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run.
Well,
First down.
keep an eye on Von Miller and keep an eye on the tight end. He's going to get out, but his eyes are in the backfield, and watch him just go for that fake and turn the tight end loose. I mean, he has no feel for Corey Sperry over the top. You get a good look at roughing the passer right there, right at the end. Robert Ayers, you can't lead with your helmet and drive the quarterback in the ground.
And that is the first penalty called this afternoon. Chargers 1st and 10 at the Bronco 27.
He doesn't like the safety on the line of scrimmage. So as soon as he sees that, he's going to try and get out of it. Get to a weak side run.
The toss to Hester, pulling his way to the 20-yard line. So a rare carry for Hester, but if they're going to go to the ground, they have very little choice with Matthews and Tolbert shaken up.
Well, this is a smart play by Phillip Rivers. He knows he can't block the strong safety, so he's going to audible to a weak side toss. And it's a good job by the offensive line making the adjustment, but you got to give a lot of credit to Phillip Rivers, not wasting plays. A strong side run there had absolutely no chance.
Hester picked up 7. It's a 2nd and 3. Jacob Hester, 3rd-round pick out of LSU 4 years ago, gets the call to get a big hole. He's inside the 10, hurdling his way inside the 5-yard line. It'll be a 1st and goal for San Diego. Quentin Carter made the stop, and again we have flags flying, and there'll be some personal foul calls.
Well, you can't afford, you see Norv Turner out there, you can't afford to lose your Pro Bowl left tackle, Marcus McNeil. A lot of pushing and shoving going on at the end of some of these plays.
And this is the 3rd incident already in this first half.
Well, that one involved Nick Hardwick and Kevin Vickerson.
Hardwick, the Charger center, and Vickerson, a defensive tackle for Denver.
Well, you just look right there. Right there. You're going to see Vickerson and Hardwick pushing, and then the rest of the offensive line come to his rescue, and a little bit of a scrum. Got to be smart, though. Can't afford to have a player get ejected. Denver's already thin along the defensive line. We talked about the next man up, Marv. Matthews out, Tolbert now, we don't know what his situation is. Jacob Hester steps in there, and just more opportunities for him in the running game.
Long discussion between the officiating crew.
Well, they're always trying to figure out who the instigator was. And sometimes the official.
After the play, there are fouls by both teams. Personal foul, defense number 92, also personal foul, offense number 73. The penalties will offset. The result of the play is 1st and goal.
It's the left tackle Marcus McNeil for San Diego, and defensive end Elvis Dumerville for Denver.
I'm not so sure they got the numbers right, but regardless, it worked out well for the Chargers. Talked to Phillip Rivers last night, Marv, about the struggles in the red zone. You see right there, 47%. They've had 17 trips down there, just 8 touchdowns and 4 field goals. Very unusual because they're generally a very good red zone offense. And good red zone offenses have the ability to run the ball in this part of the field.
1st and goal at the 4. San Diego goes double tight end. Hester is the running back. Here is Hester, and he is battled up. Marcus Thomas made the stop. And Ryan Matthews is back on the San Diego bench. He's taken back to the locker room earlier in the second quarter with that strained calf.
Well, good news is they got Mike Tolbert back in the game, Marv. So now you got both Jacob Hester in there at the fullback spot and Tolbert at the halfback spot.
Lined up in an I formation, second and goal at the 2. Tolbert, they stack him up. Denver trying to make a stand. G.J. Williams, Robert Ayers combined to make the tackle. Mike Tolbert has been a touchdown maker both on the ground and in the air. 2 touchdowns, rushing, 2 touchdowns as a receiver. Third and goal, lost the yard on that last play. They're at the 3. Rivers will run it, and he is in. Took a shot from Quentin Carter, but was able to cross the plane with the football, and the Chargers have taken the lead.
Not something we normally see out of Phillip Rivers, pulling the ball down and running. But they do a good job, Denver, defensively covering up the receivers. He's got nowhere to go with the ball. Nice job putting it away, and a big hit there at the end by Quentin Carter.
Nick Novak will attempt the extra point. Phillip Rivers on the quarterback sneak to give San Diego the lead. Phillip Rivers able to take it in from 2 yards out. 7 plays, 80 yards. San Diego had the ball for just under 4 minutes as Novak gets set to kick it away to Cosby. Quan Cosby, 3-year man out of University of Texas. And yes, this is a rarity. A kickoff return. Only the second time we've seen it here in Denver this season. 28 yards on the return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Farmers. Find a knowledgeable local farmers agent at farmers.com. We are insurance. We are farmers. Craftsman. Trust in your hands. And by the new Focus from Ford. Drive one.
Yes, Rich, that is a buffalo relaxing in a foot of fresh snow in Genesee Park, about 20 miles outside of Denver. Did snow in the Denver area yesterday.
A lot of buffalo roaming out there, huh?
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Well, Denver, from its 23-yard line, their best starting position of the day. Play action. Orton can't find anyone and has to throw it away. And you can hear the boos from this crowd. There is a flag down. Looks to be a hold.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It's the left tackle, Ryan Clady. Pro Bowler a couple of years ago.
Well, defensive coordinator Greg Minuski of San Diego Chargers told us, hey, it's real simple. Either they're going to max it up and take shots, or they're going to try and throw the ball quick. I mean, it's either or with this Denver offense.
Argahey stopped at the 15, picked up 3. Well, the Jets and the Patriots going at each other at this hour. For more on that, let's go to JB and Boomer.
And the Jets finally get on the scoreboard, Boomer.
That's right, 13 plays, 78 yards, 7 minutes and 54 seconds. Sean Green from 3 yards out. Game is tied. Best defense is to keep Tom Brady on the sideline if you're a Jet.
And I'm sure Bill Cowher's loving the low-scoring affair. Back to Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
All right, guys, no, Rex Ryan does not want to make it 3 straight losses for his Jets. They're spread out for Orton. He's able to step up, and he overthrows. Larry English putting the pressure on, and again, you can hear the reaction from this crowd. You know, back in 2009 when Orton first joined the Broncos, Denver started out at 6-0, and he was playing well. 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception in the 6 games. But since then, Orton has won only 6 of 26 games as a starter.
Well, Marv, I just looked at the replay a couple different times in the all-22. There's nowhere to go with the ball. I mean, they're double covering the X. They're doing a good job covering up Decker. They're not separating. They're not winning the one-on-one matchups.
3rd and 17. Orton going short range for the tight end, Daniel Fells, who was met by strong safety Steve Gregory. 8 yards on the play. Denver will punt.
And you hear the boo birds. And you know, if you're Kyle Orton, you can't worry about making a mistake. Other people's opinions or their perception of the quarterback situation here. You can't worry about being yanked. You have to be able to block out all those distractions and just go and play. And I know from having been in that situation, Marv, that's not an easy thing to do.
Britton Colquitt of the Colquitt punting family. Unleashing one for Patrick Creighton. Creighton with the return. Not much room along that sideline. 55-yard punt and a 12-yard return. Virgil Green forcing Creighton out of bounds. Former Indianapolis Colt Marcus Pollard has never competed against 8 teams at once until now. It's a new amazing race tonight, only CBS. Marcus, a one-time tight end for the Colts, and I see Ryan Matthews back on the field. Try and play through that strained calf injury. Here's the play fake by Rivers, and he fires. It's caught at midfield by Malcolm Floyd. First down, San Diego. Floyd in front of Andre Goodman. You're looking at some huge receivers for the Chargers. Malcolm Floyd at 6'5", Vincent Jackson 6'5", Antonio Gates, who's out of action sideline, is 6'4".
Just keep an eye on Ryan Matthews and his ability to block the edge. You can see like right there on Doomerville. Now he knows he has help inside, but that gives Phillip Rivers a chance to set his feet and make a good accurate throw.
Ryan Matthews broke tackles and works his way inside the 30. Doomerville able to chase him down, so Matthews making his return goes for 17.
That calf looks pretty good, doesn't it? You see him running right downhill. Doesn't need much of a hole, but watch Raheem Moore, the safety, come into your picture. Right there, boom, makes him miss. Well, he's got some shiftiness to him, and as you said, Marv, he's a bigger back that can run with some power.
It's Quentin Carter not able to make the tackle on Matthews. First down at the 29-yard line. Oh, a hard hit on Matthews. Never had a chance. The middle linebacker, Joe Mays, getting to Matthews.
Well, just keep an eye on Joe Mays. He's going to come flying up. They don't block it. He follows the guard. You see the guard right there making, he's pulling to the, Dealman's pulling to his right, and Joe Mays follows him right back up inside the hole.
Just what you need when you're playing with a strained calf. And then you take a shot like that. A loss of 5. Just under 4 minutes to go here in this first half. Chargers up. They lead the Broncos 13-10. And a timeout is called.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new action-adventure film The Three Musketeers, in theaters October 21st. And by Scottrade. See for yourself why so many investors are saying, I'm with Scottrade.
Back in the Mile High City, Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, coming up on 3.5 remaining in this first half, and the Chargers have the lead. Some impressive numbers for the running backs, Ryan Matthews and Willis McGahee. Second down and long. 2nd and 15 for Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. The ball at the Denver 34. Fakes the swing pass, goes the other way. The fullback Hester, who has been very much part of the game plan, aside from blocking with both Matthews and Tolbert shaken up earlier. DJ Williams made the tackle, and that's a pickup of 9.
Yeah, really a nice job. Picking up half of it on 2nd and long, now giving yourself a chance on 3rd down. And all these backs are interchangeable, whether it's Tolbert, Matthews, or Hester. They can run the football, and they can be very involved in the passing game as well.
Vincent Jackson, flank wide, left side.
Right here.
3rd and 6. Rivers. And a flag comes flying. That pass intended for the tight end, Randy McMichael, covered by Wesley Woodyard.
Personal foul. Defense, unnecessary roughness. Hit on a defenseless player. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
That's the key word, a defenseless player, although the referee Gene Steratore did not name that player.
Well, I was looking at the tight end. You see McMichael. I don't know where the hit comes in. Certainly wasn't a Woodyard.
It is a first down for the Chargers. At the Denver 12. Hester in the backfield. Hester the ball carrier. Puts his head down and rams across the 10. Picked up a couple. Ryan McBean made the tackle. Jacob Hester has been a special teams guy, along with playing fullback. Coming into today, had carried the ball only 3 times, but getting quite a bit of action in this first half. Second down and 8. Now Hester is flanked wide to the left, and Matthews alongside Rivers. The leaping attempt is made. Malcolm Floyd was out of bounds. Looking to use the 6'5", 7-inch advantage on Andre Goodman.
Well, they try to make a shot right there to Floyd in the back of the end zone. He just runs out of room. Well, back here in Denver, one of the reasons they've struggled in the red zone, Marv, they haven't had the luxury of Antonio Gates, one of Phillip Rivers' favorite guys in this part of the field.
Gates sitting it out once again. 3rd and 8 from the 10. Rivers looking end zone. Rivers in trouble and throws it away. Good job by the Broncos. Rivers now 8 of 13, 104 yards and 1 interception.
Boy, Denver's red zone defense has really been solid today. You see Phillip Rivers has had nowhere to go with the ball. Plenty of good protection. But safeties and corners and linebackers really doing a good job communicating, passing things off, and making sure they cover up these Charger receivers.
This a 28-yard attempt for Nick Novak. Was hit from 24 and 32. The angle to the left. And Novak puts it through once again. 6-point lead for the Chargers. 8 plays, 56 yards, but San Diego had to settle for a field goal, and they have the 16-10 lead. Novak with the kick, and there will be no return again for Cosby. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up right here on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Well, not a lot of offense from Denver in the first half. Most of it coming from Willis McGahee, 9 carries, 74 yards. Look at Kyle Orton's numbers, 5 of 8 with 1 interception. Said it was important for him to get off to a good start. He has not looked comfortable under center.
Starting from the 20. Nothing there. Eric Decker taken down for a loss. That is actually the first reception by a wide receiver for the Broncos, but Dante Hughes, the nickelback, was right there. It's a loss of 4. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining as this first half winds down. Orton in trouble, almost intercepted. Eric Weddle, who has 2 picks over the first 4 games, not able to come up with that one.
Well, another bad decision here by Kyle Orton, and a lot of them are coming when he has to move to his right or to his left. Eric Weddle's got to make that interception, and Kyle Orton cannot make that throw. He's played too much football to be making these kind of decisions. 12 turnovers, the most in the NFL this season. 30th in turnover ratio. Big reason why they've only won 1.
3rd and 14, and Orton's pass broken up. Intended for Matthew Willis in the right flat, covered by Dante Hughes. 3 and out. You can hear the boos once again. And punting it will come on.
Well, you're going to see pretty good protection. He just misses this throw behind Willis right here. That's a tough catch to make. Kyle Orton has missed a number of throws behind receivers today.
That's the 3rd 3 and out for the Broncos in this first half. Colquitt back at his 2. Creighton comes up for it. And he is taken down across the 45-yard line. Well, the buzz is out about TV's #1 show. Critics call 2.5 Men genuinely great, really funny. Catch a new episode tomorrow, only CBS.
Well, that was not a good series by Denver, Marv. They go 3 and out. They don't use hardly any time off the clock. And now you give the Chargers the ball almost at midfield with plenty of time and 2 timeouts left. That was not a very good sequence of events offensively for the Denver Broncos.
And Phillip Rivers very upset off that last series that he had to settle for a field goal. Could not find anyone on that 3rd down play. Ryan Matthews in the backfield. Rivers out of the gun. The tight end Randy McMichael, who is starting for the injured Antonio Gates, making the catch at midfield, picked up 5.
You can see Phil Rivers. This is an area he's very good in their 2-minute offense, although they've used quite a bit of time now.
This is Matthews. Try to pick his way.
Timeout.
And he ends up at the 45, just short of the first down. Timeout is taken by the Chargers. A look at the AFC West. Oakland winning earlier. Kansas City with a come-from-behind win. And San Diego on top at 3-1. Down to 34 seconds to play in the half. The inside handoff from Matthews, and has a first down.
Going to clock it here now. I want to save that last time out.
Clock is running, and Rivers puts it down, spikes it to stop it at 20 seconds to go. Nick Novak 3 for 3 in this first half, and he has been perfect for the season. He's 9 for 9 overall.
I got
24, 32, and 28.
I got a kick out of your question to Norv Turner last night when you talked about their struggles in the red zone. He was almost offended. He said, hey, look, we're only 4 games into this thing, but again, Marv, they have struggled today in that part of the field.
Is that my question?
I think it was.
All right, here's Rivers throwing deep Touchdown! Malcolm Floyd outrunning the secondary, a 42-yard touchdown pass play. Cassius Vaughn was chasing Floyd.
Well, I want you to, two things. He's just going to beat him down here, but watch the safety. He takes a poor angle, and he's late getting over the top. He's got to keep running by the numbers. He gets sucked back inside. There's no reason for that. He should have been able to help Vaughn over the top.
And now the extra point. 13 seconds remaining. First half in Denver. First touchdown catch of the season for Malcolm Floyd in his 6th year out of Wyoming. And with 13 seconds to play, San Diego has opened up a 23-10 lead.
Yeah, it took 49 seconds to go 54 yards. And Marv, I go back to that 3-and-out series by the Denver offense. They lose a couple yards on first down. Maybe they could have run the ball, run a draw on second down to force the Chargers to at least use one of their 2 timeouts. Kyle Orton, to me, does not look right. I don't like the look in his eye.
Both eyes or just the one eye?
Just that one that we saw. I only saw his left eye.
I see. So they'll bring it out to the 20.
Well, they're billing here, and I can't hardly blame them. They have not been able to get anything going in this passing game.
And let's see what John Fox does in the second half. Could you see Orton being pulled?
Well, we don't even know if it's going to be for Tim Tebow. It may be for Brady Quinn.
Right.
They're missing 3 of their better weapons right now in the passing game. Eddie Royal, Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, the tight end. They don't have any of them, and that's not helping Kyle Orton.
And the boos continue as this first half comes to a close. Chargers 23, Broncos 10. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS. Back in Denver in the first half, the Chargers certainly have had their way against the Broncos. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, and Rich, right at the start of the telecast, you said Denver has to get off to a fast start. That has not been the case. They hung around for a while, but what does John Fox do from here on in?
Well, I said they have to get off to a fast start, and they've got to run the football. Kyle Orton has not got off to a good start, Marv. And that's really the problem. He's got to make a decision here. Do we stay with Kyle Orton, or do I make a change at the quarterback in the second half?
On the other hand, Phillip Rivers with a solid first half. We'll take a look at the NFL Mobile recap presented by Verizon. Rivers able to connect with Malcolm Floyd with 13 seconds left in the half. 42-yard pass play to open up the score for the Chargers. San Diego comes in at 3-1. Denver at 1-3. Skeptics out there, and you know who you are, point to the quality of opposition wins for San Diego over Minnesota and Kansas City and Miami. But Rich, as you know, you play out the schedule.
Yeah, that's the way it works. Just 1-11, as you mentioned, Marv, against 2 of those teams that were winless coming in today's game. So,
and once again, they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Another touchback as we check out the first half statistics, and you see time of possession. 19 minutes, 15 seconds for the Chargers.
Big story. San Diego has not punted today. Denver struggled offensively, just 2 of 6 on third down, and you mentioned, Marv, time of possession. Not very good. Just 24 offensive plays in the first half.
Although sometimes time of possession is not a telling point. In this case, it has been. And we've seen 3 3-and-outs. Kyle Orton and the Broncos. This is Ryan Matthews, who was a question mark after straining his calf back in the second quarter. Picked up 3, met by Quentin Carter. Carter is in there at strong safety for Brian Dawkins, who suffered an injury to his neck and is still called questionable. How about that? 23 points, the most in the last 17 games for a team that recent years has been considered a high-powered offense. Rivers on the run. Comes up short of a first down. He went for 6.
Well, you look at the first half possessions for San Diego, Marv, they scored on every possession with the exception of the second one where they threw the interception. Very efficient. That one at the end, right before halftime, really, I thought killed them. Just absolutely killed Denver. We were able to go up 23-10, and you know, that guy right there, Norv Turner, is going to keep taking chances down the field.
3rd and about 2. And Rivers picks up the first down, completing to Patrick Creighton, the one-time Dallas Cowboy, met by Cassius Vaughn. Creighton is back from a broken wrist. He was on his way last season to a career year that was set back.
A little bit of celebration here. That's something different. You don't see much from Patrick Creighton. But it's fun to see the players have fun. You got to have fun playing this game.
Well, that's his first catch of the day, and he felt pretty good about it. Picked up 10. The tight end, Randy McMichael, was wide open. Able to get across the 45. Went for 7. Randy McMichael in his 10th year out of Georgia, showing his athletic skill.
He was a hurdler in high school. Did you know that, Marv? I just made that up. So you went and looked at your board to see if you missed that.
I was checking you out. I was checking you out.
I just made that up. You said, "Wait, did I miss that?" You picked up your board and you started to look. That was good.
But I was going to lie and say I knew that.
Randy McMichael, though, has done an excellent job taking over for Antonio Gates, and as Norv told us last night, Marv, he's a much better blocker.
There is Matthews. So you're making things up now
as I go along.
Test the crew.
Yeah, who's going to know?
Yeah.
I'm sure he hurdled something in high school. He's a tremendous athlete, though, and you know, he had the chance to play down in Miami with Norv for a couple of years, so he was very familiar with the system. And Norv Turner has always liked to incorporate a number of tight ends in the plan.
3rd down at about 1.5 yards. There is Antonio Gates, who has continued to have injury problems, lingering foot difficulties. Matthews. It is a first down for the Chargers. Marcus Thomas made the tackle.
Well, they're all high hurdlers. Check this one out. You know, you've watched the running game today, and 2 people have jumped out to me. Jacob Hester has been excellent at the fullback position, and we've been talking about Randy McMichael. Both have been doing a really good job opening up some holes in the running game.
You saw that leap by Matthews. Did you know he threw the javelin in high school?
Hold on a second, look at my board here.
Play action. Rivers in trouble. Down he goes. 2nd sack for the Broncos. Joe Mays, who has played very well, coming up with it. And then Marcus Thomas and DJ Williams able to finish it off.
Well, you're going to see both linebackers come right back on the strong side. They recognize pass, and I don't think Philip Rivers anticipated having both linebackers, Mays and DJ Williams, both come at the same time.
Rivers has now been sacked 10 times this season. Matthews and Hester in the backfield, lined up again on the offset eye. Deep drop, but Rivers lost the handle and has to fall on it. Chased by Robert Ayers. That's what you rarely see.
Well, you know what? If you play long enough, it happens, and sometimes these balls can get slick. And Phillip Rivers is a guy with some big hands. Right at the top there, it just slips right out as he's trying to squeeze it and throw that screen route.
How about these numbers? 3rd and 35.
And I can tell you right now, not a lot of plays on Norv Turner's play sheet for 3rd and 35. You always think from a defensive perspective, screen or draw. There it is, the draw. I should have been a play caller.
Jacob Hester runs it out to the 35, met by Elvis Dumerville, and for the first time today, San Diego will punt.
I always think that first possession is so important. Your defense goes out and gets a stop. Now this Denver offense has to find a way to get something going, something positive.
Mike Cyphers, 9-year man from Weston, Illinois, averages 45 yards a punt. Quan Cosby is back. And a good one. Cosby from behind the 10. Nice return. Able to make his way to the 30-yard line. 57-yard punt. 21-yard return. Well, the crowd has been asking for it. And here he is, Tim Tebow taking over for Kyle Orton, who has had a very rocky afternoon.
Yeah, you know, Tim Tebow, he's been the talk of the town. Every time that there's an incompletion or a 3 and out, they've been chanting Tebow, Tebow. Well, they got what they wanted.
And he starts out under center. McGahee off the handoff. Picked up 5.
Well, Kyle Orton did not get off to a good start. Marvin pressure forces him to make a bad decision early. Donald Butler makes the interception. He scrambled to his right and left, missed a number of throws. And I think the thing that really forced the hand and made John Fox make the change was just a bad decision. That's an interception that Eric Weddle should make. He needed to get off to a good start. It just never happened.
In the handoff and nothing there. McGahee is met immediately by Sean Phillips. The numbers on Orton, 6 of 13, only 34 yards, and just one interception.
So you go back and you look, he almost misses his snap with the center. J.D. Walton, a little short. You see he has to double clutch it.
And when you talk to coaches about Tebow, it always starts with the throwing motion. Now he's out of the shotgun. Can't find anyone. Now does. It was underthrown and caught by Decker, covered by Jammer, and there's no gain on the play. We're talking about Tebow with offensive coordinator Mike McCoy of Denver, and he said, you know, Tebow's release is a lot smoother, he says, than a year ago. They had worked on his shortening it up. Mike says the footwork is better. His strides were too long. He was actually making himself smaller. We'll get back to that when Denver returns to the offense. This is Creighton on the return and stopped at the 20. So quickie series for Tebow as he took over for Orton. 60-yard punt and a 12-yard return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. New York Life Insurance Company. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Just under 7 minutes remaining.
Just flying by this third quarter.
This third quarter just whipping by.
Set! It's going to be fast, Clay! Set green 80! Green hot!
Chargers from their 20-yard line. Matthews stopped by Carter. Quentin Carter coming up to make the tackle. And Mike Tolbert, we're told, will not return to the game. They are calling it concussion symptoms. Ryan Matthews was injured earlier, but he has come back. Tolbert was also hurt. He made his way back. So now it's Matthews with Hester for the most part. Jacob Hester, the fullback, played well and carried the ball several times and did a good job in the first half. Second down and 8. Matthews bounces his way to the outside, refusing to go down, and has a first down. It's chased out by Champ Bailey, picked up 11. Right here, we'll check in with JB back in our New York studio.
All right, Marv, a Joe McKnight 88-yard kickoff return sets up this Mark Sanchez to Jeremy Curley 9-yard strike. Still a tight one there in New England, 17-14. New England on top of the Jets. Back to Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
All right, thanks, JB.
When you're struggling on offense, a big return like that can get you going to the New York Jets.
San Diego from their 33. Another first down as Vincent Jackson makes the catch. Stopped by Champ Bailey. That's good for 14. Vincent Jackson in his 7th season out of Northern Colorado.
Well, 2 Pro Bowlers going at it. In their base defense, Denver's been matching up Champ Bailey on Vincent Jackson, and that's a fun one to watch.
Rich, how about Bailey? 10 times to the Pro Bowl, future Hall of Famer out of the University of Georgia.
Well, I've seen him just dominate receivers at the line of scrimmage.
Matthews. Met by Mays. Ryan Matthews, growing up in Bakersfield, California, his favorite player was LaDainian Tomlinson, now a member of the Jets. And Ryan hoping to be drafted by San Diego, follow in Tomlinson's footsteps. 149 total yards each of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and he's becoming a complete back, Marv. I mean, not just as a runner, very involved in the passing game. He's become much better in the protection scheme. And I think Philip Rivers feels real comfortable with him at his side.
Second down and 8. Rivers out of the gun, in chase, and threw it away.
Well, they've moved Champ Bailey inside now in nickel situations. You're going to see him. This is called a nickel stinger, right off the edge. And what happens is Philip Rivers recognizes it. He knows he's got no quick answer throw, and so he just moves to his right and throws it away. Champ Bailey, great on the outside, but he shows you the versatility, his ability to move inside and play the slot.
Rivers now 13 of 20, 183 yards. A touchdown and an interception. Has a 3rd and 8. It is broken up, incomplete. Pass intended for Floyd. Covered by Vaughn.
Well, you're going to see a lot of pressure. They're going to bring the pressure off of both edges. And he just wants to work up top on the little in route. Really nice job by Vaughn. He jumps inside and makes this one a very difficult throw and catch for Malcolm Floyd and Philip Rivers.
Cypher's on for his second punt. Juan Cosby is back. And again, a beautiful punt. Fair catch called for at the last instant by Cosby. 44-yard punt. Here comes Tim Tebow. We'll be right back. Back in Denver, certainly the San Diego Chargers do not agree that this is Tebow time, but Tim Tebow taking over for Kyle Orton and now facing the worst starting position of the day for the Broncos. Denver's last 10 plays, Rich, negative 2 yards.
51, 180.
Not good, obviously. They've got to get something going.
McGahee, who started fast in the first half, has been held in check. This time it's the defensive tackle Antonio Garay able to make the stop. McGahee picks up 3. Well, super agent Drew Rosenhaus is cocky, respected, not a popular guy, and many circles, but he represents some of the NFL's biggest stars. You won't want to miss what he has to say to Scott Pelley on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS.
Represents that guy right there, Willis McGahee. He's one of his clients.
Second down and 7. And Tebow is able to complete to Brandon Lloyd for a first down. He was covered by Antoine Case, and now they say incomplete. Feet were out of bounds.
Well, the good thing here, Marv, is at least he's given Brandon Lloyd a shot to make a play versus man-to-man coverage. Great effort by Brandon Lloyd, but I don't think he gets both feet in bounds. See that right foot? Watch this effort by Brandon Lloyd. Great concentration, but his foot's out of bounds and he's still bobbling it as he's laying on his back. That's the right call by the officials. That's the problem. You look there, he's been thrown to twice, but no catches. He's their most explosive player in the passing game, and they've not been able to get him involved.
3rd and 7 for Tebow. Cannot find anyone, in trouble. And now fires one deep downfield. Incomplete, a diving attempt by Eric Decker.
Well, this is what Tim Tebow can do that Kyle Orton can't do. Marvin, that's kind of improvise and move around and make some plays. This is regular speed. Look at the protection's actually excellent, but watch him just move. Now this is the scramble drill. You're going to see Decker, he starts moving, and he just throws this one up. Decker can't make the adjustment.
Colquitt with the punt. And back comes Patrick Creighton trying to go wide. He stiff arms, and then he is swallowed up. Cassius Vaughn, the first to get to him. 51-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Viagra. And by Horrible Bosses. Buy the extended cut on Blu-ray Combo Pack Tuesday.
Go back, Friday's back.
San Diego with a 23-10 lead on Denver, just under 3 minutes to play. Third quarter, it's been a dominating performance by the Chargers. San Diego back in possession, starting out at their 37. Matthews gets the call. Picked up 2. Marcus Thomas, Joe Mays combined to make the tackle.
I've been so impressed by Phillip Rivers today, and not just in the passing game, his ability to move around and improvise and make some throws, but the way he's directed the running game. You know, you just take a look at how well they've been able to run the football today, and 169 yards on the ground and 100 of them by Matthews.
Matthews again. Ayers and Harvey combined to tackle.
Well, we talked about him becoming a complete back, making people miss, the speed to turn it on and get up on the second level. And of course, in the passing game, both of these backs, 44 catches coming into today's game. He has been absolutely outstanding today for the Chargers. The guys up front have done a really good job. We talked so much about the backs. The offensive line has really opened up some holes for Matthews and Tolbert.
And as you saw, that's his second career 100-yard rushing game. Beautifully done as Rivers finds the tight end Randy McMichael for a first down. Wesley Woodyard making the stop, 13 yards on the play, and the ball now at midfield.
Well, this is what Phillip Rivers gives you. This is really good coverage by Wesley Woodyard. Now, how frustrating is that? I mean, that's a perfect throw and a catch that gets it done. I mean, I don't know. That's as good a coverage as you could have on a tight end like McMichael.
Ready.
Talk about throwing location, location, location.
Michael in motion. Matthews nearly broke it, lost the ball. Denver has recovered.
I think he's going to be down. I think that ball comes out, Marv, if I'm not mistaken, when he actually hits the ground, when his right shoulder hits the ground. They're going to call this one back. That's going to be San Diego's ball.
The officials giving the signal that it is Denver ball, but let's see.
This is how you get hurt when you leave your feet.
As we were headed to commercial following that last play, North Turner challenged as to what you mentioned, Rich, did Ryan Matthews already, had he been down by contact as he lost the ball, and now they are checking it in the replay booth.
Yeah, I think you look at his right, he still has possession of that ball. Look at his right shoulder come down, and now the ball comes out. I think that's going to work out in their favor, but I think Ryan Matthews will think twice the next time he tries to hurdle a corner like Champ Bailey. Hey, that's how you get hurt. I've seen a number of people try and do that today. Randy McMichael, Peyton Hillis, last couple of weeks is a guy that likes to do that. How you get hurt.
Peyton Hillis, one-time member of the Broncos, and had a terrific year with Cleveland last season and got hurt doing that.
While we were out to commercial, San Diego did challenge the play prior to the timeout. After review, it has been determined that the runner was down by contact. The ground cannot cause a fumble. The ball will be down at the 44.5-yard line. It will be San Diego's ball, 2nd and 4.5. The ball will be placed on the hash mark near San Diego's bench. They will not be charged with the timeout, and the clock will start on the ready for play.
Well, this guy has shown some toughness, Ryan Matthews. You see him, he hurt his shoulder there a little bit, went to the sidelines. The trainers visited with him. Now he's back in the huddle, and he got some pats on the helmet from that offensive line, who's done an outstanding job today for Ryan Matthews.
And earlier suffered a strained calf and went back to the locker room. 2nd and 4. Diving catch by Jacob Hester right at the marker. And it is a first down for San Diego as this third quarter is coming to a close. So that is the end of the third here in the Mile High City. San Diego with the 23-10 lead over Denver will return to Denver after this message and a word from your local station. On to the fourth quarter at Sports Authority Field at Mile High in Denver, Colorado. Snowing here in the Denver area yesterday. Things have certainly cleared up. 51 degrees at game time. Ryan Matthews stopped by Joe Hayes. We're calling Joe Hayes' name quite a bit. Middle linebacker, played well. 4th year out of North Dakota State. Matthews picked up 3.
Well, they've had really good balance offensively. San Diego, 175 yards on the ground and almost as many in the air. North Turner will continue to push the envelope, continue to be aggressive, and give his quarterback, Phil Rivers, some chances to make some throws down the field.
2nd and 7. Big hole for Matthews, and it's closed as he got inside the 35. He went for 4. Let's get an update on the Jets and the Patriots. JV.
Patriots with a 10-point cushion now, Boone.
Well, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis is going to go in for his 2nd touchdown of the day. Another 3-yard run, 11 plays, 77 yards. Patriots on top, 24-14.
Back to Marv and Rich.
Well, Rex Ryan looking at the possibility of a 3rd consecutive loss.
One team doing a lot of talking, the other one very quiet and focused all week.
3rd and 3. Rivers pass broken up, slapped away from Vincent Jackson by Champ Bailey.
Just really good coverage there by Champ Bailey, and Vincent Jackson's going to work all the way across the field, and he's actually the 3rd read for Phillip Rivers, but you've got to be perfect when you throw towards Champ Bailey. He is still one of the elite corners in the game.
So on this 4th down and 4, it is a 51-yard attempt. And he puts it right through. That is a career long for Nick Novak, who has been perfect. A reminder, you can watch fantasy football today for Game Time player news, inactive updates to help set your lineup, and chat with our experts every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern at cbssports.com/live. Nick Novak certainly has to enjoy kicking in the high altitude here in Denver. Just hit that career long 51, and again does not allow a return as Cosby sees it float over his head. So Tim Tebow and the Denver offense back in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. Sprint. All football, no limits. Only from Sprint. And by Acura. Acura. Advance.
Minute and a half gone by in the 4th quarter. Tim Tebow taking over for Kyle Orton. Look at that. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's amazing. 0 first downs since into the 2nd quarter there, Marv. 4 of their last 5 possessions have been 3 and outs.
Tebow completes. No, it's dropped. It appeared that Dante Rosario, the tight end, making the turn, had it, but he could not hold on. So Tebow now 1 of 4 for 0 yards.
Well, we talk about accuracy, and this is something that Tim Tebow has struggled with a little bit. When you get him this open at this level, you've got to hit him. And the thing about Tebow, 67% completion percentage in college, but he's not had the same success so far in the National Football League.
And that was a low ball thrown, tough one for Rosario to catch. Looks like Sean Phillips is shaken up. Sean Phillips was just helped off the field. We're set to resume. 2nd and 10 from the 20. McGahee with a big hole has a 1st down. Stopped by Dante Hughes.
Well, we go back and you look at the injury. Keep an eye on Legitz. Right there, he's going to step on the foot of Sean Phillips. And at 300 pounds, I can tell you with some cleats on, that hurts.
2nd and 10 at the 32. McGahee tried to maneuver himself, but he was stopped, picked up 6 on the play. Travis LeBoy, the outside linebacker, making the tackle.
You've got to ask yourself, how does the offense change now with Orton out and Tebow in? And I'd really like to see him up-tempo a little bit, some no huddle. You know, they're taking their time getting in and out of the huddle. They did not have a very good practice on Friday, in my opinion. I didn't think they weren't quick, it wasn't crisp, wasn't sharp, too many balls on the ground.
Tebow on the run. Takeo spikes, able to make the stop. You can hear the excitement of the crowd as Tebow took off.
And his first instinct is not going to be to look down the field for an open receiver, but to pull the ball down and run. He's such a great runner. Rushed for, I think, 59 or 60 touchdowns at Florida. An NCAA record. You know, his mechanics, that's been the big talk, Marv, with Tim Tebow. Making him more compact at the top of his throw, eliminate that long windup, a narrower base. He was an overstrider a little bit, and that hurt his accuracy.
Good protection for Tebow. Pass again low and away, intended for Matthew Willis. And the punt team will come on. How the game plan has to change dramatically when Tebow comes on for Orton.
Well, he's much more comfortable in the gun than he is under center. That's something that they're trying to work through. The offseason, or should I say the lack of an offseason, I think absolutely killed a player like Tim Tebow. He missed the reps and missed the OTAs, the mini camps, the quarterback school. You see a lot of improvement from year 1 to year 2.
Nice punt by Colquitt, not allowing the return, getting it out of bounds at the 10, 52-yarder.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. Turn here. And by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter.
11 and a half remaining in this fourth quarter. The head coach of the Chargers, Norv Turner, 5th season with San Diego. His first year took the Chargers to the AFC Championship game. Matthews finding a hole, gets across the 20 and has a first down. Picked up 11. Andre Goodman, the right corner, made the tackle. Getting back to the subject of Norv Turner and the Chargers. However, the last 3 years, the Chargers have had only one playoff game. They've gotten off to bad starts, 2 and 3 each of the last 4 years, but they hang on for the win here today. They go to 4 and 1. It's their best start since back in 2006.
Well, it's a point of emphasis all preseason, getting off to good starts not only on the season, but in each individual game.
Matthews on first down. Stopped at the line, stopped by Broderick Bunkley, the nose tackle.
Oh, he's slow getting up. You know, Ryan Matthews has poured it up inside, and he's thrown his body around a little bit. He's going to be very, very sore tomorrow. Sometimes you don't have to see a good hit. You can just hear it. Oh, wow, that's Joe Mays again. Marv, he's been flying around.
"24 carries, career-high 125 yards for Matthews." Rivers completes to McMichael. That's a 4-yard advance. Woodyard on the stop.
Well, anytime these two teams get together, there's no love lost. A lot of hard hits, and the guys will be very sore tomorrow. AFC West rivals. And really, it's been from both sides. Both defenses have really gotten after it. The backs have been pouring it up in there. No one's backing down. It's good to see.
Jacob Hester now, the lone back, standing alongside Rivers. Creighton enters the backfield as Rivers in a crowd and nowhere to go. 4th sack of Rivers by the Broncos. It is Von Miller, the rookie from Texas A&M, who had 2 last week against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, now has 5 for the season.
That was one of those, that's all meat at the quarterback. Good pressure from Von Miller and also from Marcus Thomas, as well as Elvis Dumerville.
Cyphers with the punt. Cosby comes up for it. Cosby gets to midfield. 46-yard punt, 15-yard return. Randy McMichael made the stop on Quan Cosby.
Well, I just really felt like it was going to be important for Kyle Orton to get off to a good start, but I want you to watch. Where is he supposed to throw the football here? You look right here, covered down here, covered, nowhere to go with the ball. And that's been a problem a lot throughout the course of the game. They've guessed wrong in a couple of situations where they've kept people in. Now, even when they start getting out, I mean, where are you going to throw the ball? Very difficult to find an open receiver.
Denver starting out from midfield. Here's McGahee fighting open field. Another nice run by Willis McGahee. Antoine Cason was able to chase him down. 28-yard run by McGahee.
Well, just watch the fullback. Just follow your wingman, and then once he does, he finds a little hole backside. Boy, Willis McGahee has actually run pretty well today. 15 carries for 120 yards. but he hasn't gotten enough touches because they've been behind and had to throw the football.
Now, Noshan Marino, 3-year man from Georgia, has come on for McGahee. Tebow. He broke a tackle, and here's it from the crowd. Some nice moves by Tebow, picks up the first down on an 11-yard run.
Well, once again, Watts struggles with the snap. He almost loses it. So he's not in rhythm right now in the passing game, but this is what he can give you. He's a big, strong guy that can make some big plays with his legs.
First down for Denver.
Isn't that amazing? He's already had 2 balls that he's almost dropped from the center.
First and 10 at the San Diego 12. And again, he had trouble with the snap. So Antonio Garay with that quick move.
Well, that was incredible. You don't know if that's something with the change, the cadence change from Orton to Tebow. Go back and look how quick. And again, he's just pulling that one away. That doesn't look good.
And we talked earlier, Rich, that he's been so much more comfortable in the shotgun. He's had difficulty with the snap when he's lined up under center. Now an empty backfield. It's all Tebow to the 5. Touchdown.
Well, they're going to stay and go for 2. Make it a 1-possession game, but really nice job there by Mike McCoy, the offensive coordinator. They spread them out. They go in an empty backfield set, and then you just run that quarterback draw to the left side. Really a nice job, and just follow your guard right up the field. San Diego clearly not ready for that.
Tebow takes it in from 12 yards away. Only the second time that the Broncos have attempted a 2-point conversion. McGahee picks up the 2. And as you mentioned, it is now a 1-possession game with 6:35 remaining in the 4th.
Well, a little draw play, and McGahee has been really good. Great effort there at the end, sticking the ball over the goal line. Well, this offensive line has really done a nice job opening up some big holes for Willis McGahee. You see Zane Beadle there come around. That's twice in 2 consecutive plays that Beadle has pulled and gotten up on the second level.
Celebration by the Broncos mascot, Thunder. Rich, I know you spent some time with Thunder earlier.
I told you that story when I came here as a member of the Chiefs. We thought we were going to wear Thunder out.
Yes.
They were scoring so many points against us.
But I noticed
I was worried about that poor horse.
I noticed that there was some bonding. I think there was food involved, though.
I took him a couple of carrots before the game.
So the Broncos are back in it.
That's amazing. They haven't really done much all day. Tim Tebow comes in, makes a couple plays with his legs, and now all of a sudden it's a 1-score game. And Phillip Rivers and that San Diego offense have to get things cranked up again. Got them lining up for an onside kick. San Diego at least anticipating it. I think it's still plenty early for that. I think Denver kicks it down the field and kick it out of the end zone. Pin it back to the 20-yard line.
The deep man for San Diego, Richard Goodman.
Yeah, they're going to kick this thing away.
Here's Goodman. Out of Florida State. Matt Prater will kick it. And again, puts it high and far, right through the uprights. A reminder, Thursday on CBS, could a doctor by day be a killer by night? Michael Emerson and Jim Caviezel star in the new drama Person of Interest. That's Thursday only, CBS. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon in the Mile High City with 6:35 remaining in the fourth quarter.
If I was Mike McCoy, who's sitting there talking to his quarterback, Tim Tebow, I might have him jump over there and get a couple more snaps with J.D. Walton. Marv, we've seen 3 that have not been clean, and he's not getting away from center.
Chargers start out at their 20. Hester in the backfield. Vincent Jackson able to make that catch. See where they spotted you short of a first down.
Well, this is a tough route to cover. You see Vaughn, he's got his back turned to the quarterback, and Philip Rivers purposely throws that on the back shoulder for Vincent Jackson. I think it's one of the toughest routes to cover in football. Got to be able to get your head around and locate that throw.
Jackson now to the left. 2nd and 1. Hester appeared to come up short. Stopped by Marcus Thomas.
Well, you look at the Chargers' second half possessions now. It hasn't been as good. The first half, they were just rolling along. But they've struggled here a little bit. And it's hard to flick that switch back on. You see North Turner there. It's a critical third down.
First half, they scored on every possession except one quarterback sneak for the first down. Philip Rivers behind that offensive line, picked up 2. He was led by the setter, Nick Hardwick. Hardwick back from that injured neck. The guards are Chris Dielman and Luis Vasquez. The tackles, Jeremy Clary, Marcus McNeil.
Well, Rivers is a good guy for this quarterback sneak because he's so big at 6'5", 230 pounds, and just wedges in there behind Dielman and Vasquez and Hardwick. Quarterback sneak at 0.
Now Floyd flanked wide to the left. Rivers had it knocked out of his hand. Will that go as an incomplete pass or a fumble? It's ruled incomplete. Robert Ayers all over Philip Rivers.
Well, Philip Rivers, the pressure up inside. You can see Ayers, he just spins out. Does a really nice job. Well, that ball comes out ahead of time. What happens is the ball's loose, and Philip Rivers is trying to bring his hand through.
And there will be a challenge.
What a great effort by Robert Ayers, though.
John Fox challenging the play.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass.
Watch the ball come down, and now right here he pushes it forward with his forearm. That's kind of unusual.
Now, as one who was
It's like a shot put
in the tuck game,
That's right.
that's kind of a tuck to the shoulder, but not quite. You are on the wrong end of the tuck game.
You know what, though? I still think that's an incomplete pass. I think he's got possession of it in a way. It's up against his forearm, and he's pushing the forearm forward. And that'll be interesting to see. That this is not a play we see very often.
Boy, Philip Rivers has been involved in a couple of unique plays. Last week, he was in trouble being pressured, and he went to his left hand to throw it away.
A really smart play. He was going to have it. He was worried about it getting stripped. He was also probably worried about protecting that right shoulder. But the pressure has forced him back up inside, and you see a number of these defensive linemen for Denver, Ayers in particular, done a good job spinning off and working back up inside and locating Philip Rivers. This is going to be interesting because his hand's clearly not on it, but he feels that ball. See right there, Ayers knocks it out. Now he knows it's gone, but he's pushing it forward because he can kind of feel it up against his forearm.
So the question is that a true throw?
I guess it'll be the interpretation of the officials. To me, it looks like he's trying to advance the ball.
And if they say it's a fumble, it's Denver ball in a one-possession game because they recovered that loose ball with 4:34 remaining.
If the ball's out and he doesn't have possession, then maybe it is a fumble.
After review, it has been determined that the quarterback did not have possession of the football.
Well, that's it.
Not a forward pass, but it's a fumble. It will be Denver's ball, 1st and 10 on the San Diego 41-yard line. The ball will be placed on the hash mark there at San Diego's bench. Denver will not be charged with the timeout. With the game clock operator, please set the game clock to 4 minutes, 38 seconds.
So a tremendous play by the left defensive end, Robert Ayers, gets the sack and a forced fumble.
Yeah, and there's the ball. It's loose. And again, he doesn't have possession. Now, I know that he knew that ball was loose and he was still trying to push it forward, but they're saying clearly he did not have possession of the ball, and I think that's the right call. Not one that we typically see, because usually when the ball's out, the quarterback's hand is coming forward and the ball's in space. I think that's what Norv's trying to argue, that even though the ball wasn't in his hands, he was still trying to advance the ball.
Rivers has now been sacked 5 times. So Denver will take over. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS of the game between the Chargers and the Broncos. I'm Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon. San Diego with a 26-18 lead, but Denver very much back into it. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. And for more on the Jets and the Patriots, let's go to JB and Boomer.
Jets staying close, Boom.
That's right, they're not going away. Mark Sanchez is going to find Santonio Holmes for a 21-yard touchdown hookup. 27-21, Patriots in the lead. 6 minutes and 35 seconds left to go in the game.
Boomer covered it all. Back to Marv and Rich.
Well, a couple of terrific games going at the same time. It's an 8-point lead, 1-possession game for the Chargers as Tim Tebow and the Broncos come to the line. 1st and 10 at the San Diego 41.
Now you got to be able to take advantage of the turnover and the field position.
Tebow on the run. It's inside the 35. Donald Butler makes the stop.
Well, now the crowd's getting into it. Tebow's starting to feel pretty good. Well, you look at the comparison between the two quarterbacks. Orton struggling. Tebow hasn't been much better, but he's been able to extend some plays, make some plays outside the pocket with his legs.
Picked up 8 on that run. Now hands it off. Big hole again for McGahee, who has a first down.
Well, get a look at the fullback. He's going to come in and he's going to crack on the nose tackle, and the nose tackle never even feels him. Cam Thomas. Nice job there, kicking out and open up the hole.
Denver all pumped up. They have a first down. 28 on the screen. It's completed to Marino. Marino, touchdown.
Well, now they're going to go for 2. And you talk about guessing right. They bring Eric Weddle on the blitz. Well, you're going to see Weddle right up here. They're going to bring him on the blitz. But look, they got man-to-man coverage. and no one covers Moreno as he slips out the backside. I mean, he's got a clear alley all the way down the sidelines. Great effort here and great finish at the end.
Right guard Chris Cooper with a key block. The Broncos can tie it. Once again, they go for two. They did check out that touchdown in the review booth as Moreno made contact with the pylon.
Boy, what a great effort. Good job by Cooper getting out in front of it. Boy, the linebacker was in man-to-man coverage on Moreno, and he lost him. He just slipped out the back. Well, you think quarterback draw with this empty backfield set, but they've already done it. Maybe some movement to his left.
And now a timeout is being called
First
by
charge
Denver.
timeout. Denver, 30 timeout.
See John Fox running along the sideline, screaming timeout.
Well, I don't think they had the right formation called. They might be on the wrong hash. You think if you got a left-handed quarterback and you want to roll him to the left, that you wouldn't have that ball on the left hash.
John Fox showing his speed as he got the attention of referee Dean Steratore. John Fox grew up in the San Diego area. Major fan of the Chargers, the days of Chuck Muncie and Dan Fouts, Lance Allworth. Remembers the signing of Johnny Unitas. Broncos trying to tie things up with 3:19 left in this fourth quarter, going for the two-point conversion. Again, empty backfield.
Well, San Diego playing for the quarterback draw. They'll crowd the line of scrimmage.
Tebow throws. It is caught out of bounds. San Diego maintains the lead. Brandon Lloyd, the intended receiver, covered very well by Antoine Cason.
Yeah, pretty good throw here by Tim Tebow, but I like to see him set his feet, Marv. You see him drifting there at the end? And that's a very difficult catch for Brandon Lloyd. Nice job by Cason knocking it out. But Tim Tebow at the top of his drop, drifting, fading to his left. He'd get a lot more accuracy and a lot more juice on that throw if he would set his feet.
Sunday night begins with sports super agent Drew Rosenhaus on 60 Minutes, and then a new amazing race, The Good Wife and CSI Miami. That's tonight only. CBS.
Well, I'd like to see Tim Tebow more under center. I know he's had some struggles, but in this throw right here in the shotgun, he'd get the ball in his hand a lot quicker. You see him drifting to his left, trying to run that little fade route. If he was under center, he'd get the grip, the laces in his hands much quicker, and he could get the ball up and down. When it takes so much time, then the corner has a chance to recover, and that's what we saw out of Antoine Cason.
As you mentioned earlier, the lockout certainly hurt Tebow because he was not able to get the repetitions because they wanted to make that change.
Yeah, and that's a chance to really get better and work on your skills, and he did not have that opportunity.
They will bring it out to the 20 on the touchback.
Well, you look at both quarterbacks, and I was asked earlier what would happen, who will play next week, and I said if Tim Tebow plays well, it'll be Tim Tebow. If Tim Tebow comes out and plays poorly in the second half, then maybe they'll go back to Orton. But I think Tim Tebow, Marv, has done some good things, and he'll probably get to start next week, regardless of what happens here today.
I agree with you. I just cannot see in this type of situation going back to Kyle Orton. All right, let's see what San Diego can do as Rivers has to throw it away on first down. Joe Mays providing the pressure.
You got to look at the AFC West standings there. What makes things even more interesting is the fact that Denver actually has their bye next week. So now you've got to live with this quarterback controversy all next week, even though you don't play the following Sunday.
Right, then they play at Miami, back home for Detroit. Rivers out of the shotgun. It is broken up. Pass intended for Malcolm Floyd, covered by Andre Goodman, the right corner.
Boy, really nice job here by Andre Goodman. You're going to see him. He almost runs this route. Of course, you can see Tim Tebow. He can't wait to get back on the field.
Lots of time remaining, 3 minutes, 10 seconds. 2-point Charger lead. 3rd down and 10.
They're going to bring pressure again. Here it comes.
Rivers able to complete to Floyd for the 1st down and much more. A big play for the San Diego Chargers. Good for 38.
This is what makes Phillip Rivers so good. They're going to bring pressure. Watch how early he throws this ball. The receiver's not even out of the break yet. I mean, just great anticipation, giving Malcolm Floyd a chance. A perfect throw and catch gets it done. What an incredible throw by Phillip Rivers.
Now the Broncos take a timeout, so they will have 1 remaining. San Diego has all 3.
Well, some headlines from earlier today. The Raiders did not get off to a particularly good start, but they found a way to just win, baby, for Al Davis. Big win for them on the road against Houston. And, of course, the Saints made it interesting. Cam Newton had a good day. Certainly Drew Brees has just been outstanding through the first 5 weeks of the season. And the Buffalo Bills took advantage of some poor decisions by Michael Vick. 4 interceptions. And how about the Philadelphia Eagles, the dream team, at 1-4?
You think Vince Young would take that back?
Yeah, that was a mistake. Team has not looked good. So many new players defensively. There's not a lot of continuity in the offensive line. Defensive line, they have not looked good.
1st and 10 at the Denver 42-yard line. The fullback Hester picked up a couple. Met by Buckley and Thomas as Denver takes its final timeout.
Well, this is the 4-minute offense that we referred to, and San Diego just trying to run out the clock and get out of here. The last time out, of course, Denver will get a chance to get a stop at the 2-minute warning, but you've got to get a 1st down here, and that's what Phillip Rivers and Norv Turner are talking about. I think you throw it here on 2nd down.
Second and 8 at just outside the 40 when we resume. Rivers 18 for 29, 250 yards, a touchdown, an interception. He's been sacked 5 times. So only the 2-minute warning can stop the clock for Denver. Well, of course, an incomplete pass. Here's Hester. And let's see where they spotted Andre Goodman. Able to make the tackle. And a flag is tossed.
Taking a while to sort this out, isn't it?
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, 15-yard penalty out of the end of the run, 1st down.
Well, he is not naming names or numbers, but it appeared that it was Broderick Bunkley the nose tackle.
Well, just keep an eye on the top of your screen. Broderick Bunkley. Somebody's pushing back.
Bunkley involved with the left guard Chris Dielman. And that is a costly penalty. Sets up a 1st and 10 at the Denver 22. Down to 2 minutes, 36 seconds to play. And San Diego in front, 26-24. Once again, the Chargers had Hester as the lone setback. Hester to the outside. Joe Mays able to stop him, no gain on the play.
Now you can see Raheem Moore run right through, and now they're starting to crowd the line of scrimmage. Got to find a way to get a stop, get a turnover, get the ball back for your offense.
And the Chargers will take it down to the 2-minute warning. Well, Tim Tebow getting ready. 2-point Charger lead. We'll be right back. 2 minutes left in this 4th quarter. Denver out of timeout. San Diego has its 3. Chargers with a 26-24 lead over the Broncos. And Phillip Rivers and his Chargers with a 2nd and 10 at the Denver 22. Hester. Where they mark his forward progress, he picked up about 4. Sent back by Ayers and Carter.
Phillip Rivers will use this play clock. You see at the top of your screen there, take it all the way down.
And this, obviously, a huge play, a 3rd down and 7 at the 19.
I think they run it again and take more clock off and kick the field goal.
And Tyrone Green, an offensive lineman at tight end. Again, it is Hester, and he is stopped. Clock is running, coming up on a minute to play.
That's the right decision. You take this clock all the way down now. Get it all the way down to about 28 seconds. San Diego can even take a timeout if they want. That's probably what they're going to do here. Didn't look like it was going to be this close of a game. All of a sudden, Tim Tebow got in there, and things got exciting here in the 2nd half.
Kyle Orton not able to get anything going in that 1st half. And now the timeout is called by San Diego.
Well, you mentioned Kyle Orton wasn't able to get things going early through the interception of Donald Butler. Phillip Rivers came right back, threw a pick 6 to Cassius Vaughn. Made up for it, though, with this little quarterback draw, and then a big throw before halftime to Malcolm Floyd. And then they made the change in the 2nd half to Tim Tebow. He came in and made some plays. Great play by Ayers with the strip. They come right back with the screen pass. But they couldn't make the 2-point throw just off the fingertips of Brandon Lloyd.
We'd like to welcome those of you watching the Jets and the Patriots. Marv Albert with Rich Gannon in what has been a good one here in Denver. A 36-yard attempt now by Nick Novak of the Chargers with just 28 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. San Diego with a 26-24 lead. Novak has been perfect for the season, 10 for 10, and continues his perfection. We're now down to 24 seconds remaining. And a last gasp choice for Denver. Sunday night begins with sports super agent Drew Rosenhaus on 60 Minutes, then a new Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and CSI Miami. That's tonight only CBS. The story for the Broncos today, Tim Tebow coming on. Not that his numbers are extraordinary, but he has sparked his Broncos back into the game, and now they need a dramatic finish.
Yeah, you hate to be this early in the season, Marvin, have a quarterback controversy, but it seems like that's been the story from week one, and Tim Tebow came in. Wasn't great through the air, but he made some plays, and I think he gave this offense and this team a spark. And that's really what you're going to get with Tim Tebow. It's not always going to look pretty. It's not going to be exactly how you drew it up, but he is a guy that can go in there and create something that Tim Tebow, something that Kyle Orton was not able to do in the first half. And we talked about Friday practice. I just didn't think they looked good at practice on Friday. It wasn't a sharp practice. There were too many balls on the ground, and I can't say I'm surprised that they made a change at quarterback here today.
It has been touchback city, and once again, they'll bring it out to the 20. Cosby has not been able to make a kickoff return, so they will start at the 20. 24 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
And no timeouts. You'll see if Tim Tebow has any magic left in him. You got to be able to complete the ball on the boundary. Incompletion does not hurt you, but it takes something special here. A lateral or something unique.
Willis left, Decker right. Tebow to throw. Oh, what a catch. The question is, was he in or out of bounds? Brandon Lloyd out of bounds. Incomplete.
Well, what a great effort, though, by Brandon Lloyd. A one-handed grab. Wow, I think he catches that. I think he brings it in with the other hand.
And at this point, they are reviewing upstairs in the final 2 minutes of the half.
Yeah, watch that knee.
And they're checking it out.
I think his left knee was in bounds. What a great effort
Previous play
by Brandon Lloyd.
review.
It was a heck of a throw by Tim Tebow. He's going to go up with his right hand. Really stretch. Now whether or not he pulled it in now he's got possession. Now left leg comes down. I think that's a catch.
Of course, the San Diego players waving it off, and then a look at it. See the sign of incompletion, but they can review it upstairs.
What a tremendous effort by Brandon Lloyd. Looks like a catch to me. Now I can't see whether he's still. This is probably the better angle. Watch to see if he's still, when he comes down. Forget looking at the leg. Watch when he hits the ground. Does he still possess that ball? I think he's got it. It doesn't even move out of his hands. And a lot of times, Marv, you'll see those officials. They're looking at each other as they come towards the play to get confirmation. I think he makes that catch. You can see.
Well, 8 seconds elapse on the play. It's 16 seconds remaining.
Hey, look at the reaction from Chargers players over there, all saying no, he didn't catch it. Well, what else are they going to say?
Yes.
Regardless, though, even if they give him the catch, something special has to happen here. And we saw at practice on Friday, they worked on that last play with all the laterals and the flips and the tosses.
Rich, I thought one of the Chargers would say, nice catch.
Yeah, great, and help him up.
Yeah.
Good effort. Let's see if they give it to him. I thought that was a catch.
After review, the runner did maintain possession.
Yes.
It is a catch. His knee lands in bounds at the 40-yard line. It will be Denver's ball, 1st and 10. At the 40-yard line, the ball will be placed on the hash mark nearest San Diego's bench. With the game clock operator, please set the game clock to 19 seconds. 19 seconds on the game clock, please.
It is a 20-yard advance, 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Denver without any timeouts, trailing 29-24.
Look how deep the secondary is. They're going to try and funnel everything back inside and not let them use the boundary. You're going to see these corners force the receivers back inside.
And again, Tebow from the shotgun.
3-man rush. Got to do something.
A jump pass, it is caught at the 29-yard line.
Got to clock it.
Daniel Fells, they got to spike it.
They got time.
Time running down. 1 second remaining.
You know what's amazing? Tim Tebow got his hands under center J.D. Walton, and it seemed like it took forever to get the ball. They could have saved themselves. Regardless, they were only going to get one more play. Now you've got a chance to put one into the end zone. Don't know why. Well, it took a while to get the clock. You see, he's got to make sure everybody's set.
1 second left.
Second charge timeout.
And the Chargers call for time.
30-second
And that's a
timeout.
good decision by Greg Minuski and Norv Turner to talk about it. You see Minuski there in the middle. This is Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator. He wants to make sure they're talking about all the different scenarios and what has to happen. Talk to those safeties. Talk to the corners. This is situational football. These are the plays that you work on Friday afternoons. Last play of the game. Minuski saying rush 4. They don't want to give Tebow extra time to run around. I'm pretty sure that's what he was saying. We're going to rush 4 and not 3. Giving Tim Tebow too much time back there in the pocket. You see, you got a 4-man rush.
1 second left. Tebow.
Got to throw it up. Wasted time. You got to throw it. You can't take a sack.
Cannot find anyone. Now throws. End zone. It is incomplete.
He made it interesting, didn't he?
That was intended for Matthew Willis, and the game is over. What a finish.
Boy, he's a fun guy to watch. Well, you look at the last play. Tim Tebow can make some plays. Hard guy to sack. Defensive lineman just absolutely exhausted. He's moving to his right, to his left, finally comes back to his right, and at least gives him a chance in the back of the end zone. Well, incredible finish.
Nearly made the catch. San Diego now 4-1 off to their best start since 2006. They've won 3 in a row. The Broncos dropped to 1-4. It's their worst start since opening the 1999 season at 1-4. Both teams have their byes coming up. So 4 straight wins, 9 of the last 11 for San Diego over Denver. A good one here in the Mile High City. Chargers win it 29-24 tonight on CBS. 60 Minutes, followed by The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and CSI Miami. For Rich Gannon, Marv Albert saying so long.